Good evening. I'm Brian O'Malley, President-elect of the Rotary Club of Naperville and Chair of our major fundraiser, Jazz Quilt. I'm pleased to welcome everyone. We are so grateful you have joined us. Tonight, we present a one-of-a-kind evening of music to raise funds for causes that need our help right now. We'll be telling you a little bit more about the causes as the evening progresses, but for now, a few housekeeping items. You probably know where the restrooms are, as well as the exits. But remember that this is a fundraiser and we need to make sure that you know where your credit card is, as well as the donate button. If you're on your computer right now, there's a donate button above and below this video. If you're at a watch party or watching this on NCTV 17 at home, take out your phone or device, go to jazzquilt.org and click on the donate button. Donate early, donate often. I'd like to thank our partners at NCTV 17 for broadcasting this event tonight. They've made this production possible. At this time, I'm honored to introduce my co-presenter tonight, the president of the Rotary Club of Naperville, Alma Jones.
Thank you, Brian. It is an honor to join you tonight on this stage to present Jazz Quilt, a special night of music directly benefiting mental health awareness, suicide prevention, and domestic violence prevention. It is possible for us to be here tonight because of the generosity of our presenting sponsors, Edward Elmhurst Health and Paul Gregory Media. We have 6 artists with us this evening for this one-of-a-kind fundraiser. We are here to provide joy and lighten your load as much as possible. And if along the way, we also make your wallet a bit lighter, then together our work will also lighten the load for those who are affected by domestic violence and mental health trauma. It is no secret that these last several months have been challenging for everyone. The great strength of Rotary is that it brings people of action together to serve those in our community and the world who need our help, always, but especially in times like these. Tonight, we say thank you in advance to all of you for joining us and for your support as we bring you an evening of joy and music while we raise funds to help the victims of domestic violence and to aid in suicide prevention and mental health awareness. Brian, can you share some background about the event's name?
I sure can, Alma. You know, the name Jazz Quilt signifies the patches, pieces really, of musical performances sewn together to provide comfort, warmth, and security to those in need. And the need is great. Thank you to everyone watching this tonight at your personal watch parties. Be sure to get out your phones and go to jazzquilt.org to donate in just a few clicks. Let's all come together. The need is great. We ask for your donation now.
Indeed, the need is great, Brian. That need became very real to me several weeks ago when talking with Amy Milligan, Domestic Violence Services Director at Metropolitan Family Shelter Services. It was a Monday. They had received 15 emergency phone calls for immediate shelter needs over that weekend from victims seeking escape from violent abuse situations. They were only able to accept 2. They were faced with the judgment call of what was lethal enough. This is unacceptable. Let's change this tonight.
Alma, that story underlies the importance of why we are here tonight. Never has the need been so great. Never has the desire to help been so strong. Local authorities have reported a significant increase in domestic violence calls. Victims are in need of a safe place to go to escape their abusers. A $100 donation will provide 3 nights of safe housing. Please consider making a donation to help someone seeking shelter this evening.
Together with you, Brian, it is my honor to introduce Janice Borla and Jack Mouse, our artistic directors for the evening. You know, we are in the company of jazz royalty, actually, with these world-acclaimed artists joining us here and from across the country tonight. Welcome everyone watching across the globe. On behalf of the Rotary Club of Naperville, I am grateful to Jack and Janice and all of the artists for collaborating with us to make tonight happen by sharing their time and talent to bring you this very special night. So, finally tonight, we sew together Jazz Quilt. To introduce our performances this evening, I present to you our artistic directors, Janice Borla, and Jack Mouse.
What an honor to collaborate with the Rotary Club of Naperville. It's our great pleasure to welcome you and our viewing audience to Tall Grass Studio, located here in Naperville, Illinois.
Yeah, Janice, the artists you're going to hear tonight are virtuoso world-class musicians who recognize how important it is to give back, and it's been our honor to work with them for many years all over the world.
What a night. These folks are as good as it gets, and our causes tonight represent such need right now. But let's stop teasing you and welcome our first performance of the evening. Jack, who do we have as our first performer?
Our first artist this evening is the renowned jazz pianist, producer, and composer Pat Coyle. Pat and I go way back to our days with Clark Terry in the mid-1970s, and his performance credits read like a who's who of music. Woody Herman, Clark Terry, Carmen McRae, Barry Manilow, Natalie Cole, Pat Metheny, the Manhattan Transfer, and the list goes on and on. Many music fans will know Pat as the keyboard artist and musical director for Michael McDonald. His film soundtrack credits include Star Trek, The Bodyguard, The Waltons, Deep Space Nine, Airport, Caddyshack, and again, the list goes on. Pat and I first met at the Saskatchewan Summer School of the Arts Jazz Camp, where he and I, along with the great Bill Evans bassist Mark Johnson, served as the in-house rhythm section. So please welcome from his digs in Nashville, Tennessee, the great Pat Coyle. Pat, what are you going to play for us this evening?
Okay, here's a song that you probably know. It's called Angel Eyes by Matt Dennis and Earl Brent.
Wow, Pat, you sound better than ever. What a great way to start the evening, huh, Janice?
Really?
I mean, really. Thank you, Pat. Thanks for being a part of this.
Thank you, Jack. Thanks for letting me be a part of this.
Thank you, Rotary Club of Naperville. Thank you for your support to Family Shelter Service. I'll take your life and our son. Those few words could be said about 6 times in 30 seconds, the time it takes me to send this message to you. And the amount of domestic violence that has increased during this global pandemic is alarming. So thank you for your support. It really means beyond words that you are thinking of those who are voiceless and marginalized.
Organizations that support mental health need our support this evening. Since the pandemic, it's been reported that depression is up 65% among youth. We can impact this statistic tonight. And now back to Janice, who will introduce our next performance, sponsored by the generosity of our performing sponsor, Energy Services Air Conditioning and Heating Company. Please think of fellow Rotarian Kevin Dixon and Energy Services for all of your heating, air conditioning, and electrical needs.
Thanks, Alma. Our next performer is guitar virtuoso Fareed Haq. Jack and I have known and worked with Fareed for over 20 years. He is the guitarist on 2 of my earlier recordings, and we're looking forward to working with him on several new projects. Fareed's unique multicultural background informs his artistic approach, earning him Best World Guitarist by Guitar Player magazine. His musical versatility, from classical to jazz to electronic music, keep him in constant demand with such artists as Paquito de Rivera, Sting, and Joe Zawinul. In fact, this time last year, he was on the Billy Cobham Cross Currents World Tour with an all-star band that included Randy Brecker and many others. So here then is Fareed from his family acreage just outside Madison, Wisconsin, playing his solo guitar rendition of pianist Mal Waldron's classic Soul Eyes. Fareed, that was absolutely exquisite. Such a gorgeous blend of technical brilliance and soulfulness. Thank you so very much.
Hey, thanks to Jack and Janice for putting this great thing together. It's an honor to be a part of it, and it's an honor to swing for y'all. God bless.
Fareed, that was beautiful and inspiring. Thank you. I'd like to again thank Edward Elmhurst Health as well as Paul Gregory Media for their sponsorship to make tonight possible. As well, a very special thank you to Friedrich Jones Funeral Home as tonight's production sponsor. In addition, a very generous donor will match up to $30,000 of the funds raised tonight. So if there was ever a time to donate, now is the time.
Shelby Vidmar was kind enough to share her experience with mental illness. Let's hear Shelby's inspiring message.
Hi, my name is Shelby Vidmar, and I live in Naperville, Illinois. I'm an individual who deals with a mental health condition. I currently have bipolar disorder 2, and I also have obsessive compulsive disorder. I went 8 years undiagnosed with my mental health condition, and unfortunately, I used drugs and alcohol as a coping mechanism. Thank God that I found a doctor who led me to what I now call recovery. I'm able to work and volunteer for organizations who help people with mental health and addiction. And I wouldn't be able to do that or say this without the organizations that have helped me in DuPage County.
Thank you, Shelby, for having the courage to share your personal experience. Crisis hotlines are at an all-time high and up over 50% from last year. Your donation of $100 now could help save the lives of 3 people seeking help on one of the hotlines.
Our next artist is tenor saxophonist Scott Robinson. Now, I say tenor saxophonist, but Scott is known throughout the world as a multi-instrumentalist. He literally plays every instrument known to man, and the list of musicians he's performed with is far greater than those he has not. The Maria Schneider Orchestra, Bob Mintzer Big Band, Mingus Dynasty, to name just a few.
Yeah.
Scott's also a consistent nominee for the prestigious Downbeat magazine Readers' Poll in numerous categories, and his current release as a leader, Tenor More, was selected as Jazz Times Magazine Album of the Year. Janice and I have been performing and recording and creating projects with Scott since the late 1970s, so we have a lot of shared history. You're in for a very rare treat this evening, as Scott will be performing a completely freely improvised piece. You should know that Scott is recognized as a sound innovator, creating unique sounds on the instrument that have never been played before. Also, as you view Scott's performance, you should be aware that Scott is one of only a handful of musicians who use circular breathing, which enables him to play continuously without noticeably taking a breath. So now, from Scott's Science Sonic Laboratory in Teaneck, New Jersey, please sit back and enjoy the amazing work of Scott Robinson. Yeah, Scott, that's the Scott Robinson we all know and love. Thank you for playing for us, man. That was beautiful.
Well, Jack, I'm glad to be a part of something like this. It's a good cause. You know, I lost my mother to mental illness a long time ago. A lot of people don't know that. I don't talk about it much, but I'm glad to see healthy kind of attention being paid to the issue today as opposed to back in those days. I think people can find help today in a way that was more difficult then. So it's personal for me, and glad to be able to help out.
And now I'd like to welcome Karen Rosenberg to share her personal story.
As the youth program assistant for NAMI DuPage, I have seen a rise in anxiety and depression firsthand. 2020 has been filled with uncertainty. Adding to that is the need for social distancing and remote learning. Parents are unemployed or underemployed or just plain struggling themselves. The need for help is going up while the access to it is going down. Mental health resources are being stretched at the same time that fundraising has become almost non-existent. The money raised by the Rotary Club of Naperville through Jazz Quilt will help fund these resources. please help the Rotary Club support NAMI, other mental health facilities, and domestic abuse shelters by giving generously at jazzquilt.org.
Thank you, Karen, for sharing with us tonight.
Our next featured artists are amazing philanthropists and dear friends of mine. In 2019, both Jack and Janice were named Paul Harris Fellows by the Rotary Foundation in recognition of their work with young people with special needs. They have been the inspiration for this event and have been involved since its inception. Janice is known for her beautiful vocal sound, adventurous repertoire, and imaginative improvisations. She has performed with such artists as Clark Terry, Terry Gibbs, and Bobby Shue. She is a consistent nominee in the prestigious Downbeat magazine's Reader's Poll in the category of Best Female Vocalist. A pioneer in vocal jazz education, she founded the Janice Borla Vocal Jazz Camp and Hot Jazz 6 Cool Nights concert series, which ran for 26 years and was featured on PBS, The NewsHour with Jim Lehrer, and WGN TV's Chicago's Very Own. In 2017, Janice and Jack launched Flashpoint Creative Arts, a nonprofit emphasizing the importance of improvisation in daily life. Jack began playing drums at the age of 4, and by his late teens was performing with such well-known jazz musicians as Red Norvo, Buddy Morrow, and Tex Beneke. After 3 years as featured soloist touring and recording with the Falconeers, the U.S. Air Force Academy Jazz Ensemble, he has gone on to perform with such jazz luminaries as Clark Terry, Stan Kenton, Bunky Green, and Herb Ellis. His recordings as a leader demonstrate a diverse array of musical styles. Jack was among the first musicians to introduce jazz education to the Montreux, Switzerland Jazz Festival. He is a staff clinician for Yamaha drums, Sabian cymbals, Aquarian drum heads, and Vic Firth drumsticks. So, Janice, can you tell us about what you're going to perform?
Jack and I will perform a composition by pianist Bill Evans with a very clever lyric by vocalist Karen Gallinger, which I think reflects how everybody's been feeling these past few months during the pandemic. So here is Funkalero. Looking for a word to say, how I feel about today. You see now everything is cold and gray. Nothing seems to go my way. Well, this is such a funky attitude, and I'm really in a terrible mood. Excuse me if I'm being rude, I'm just feeling funkalero. Do you know what I mean? When a word just doesn't fit, I crawl down inside of it, and then I stretch it out a little bit. Call on my prodigious wit, and though it really makes some folks see red, I just do it here inside of my head. I think that I'll go back to bed. I'm just feeling funkalero. Do you know what I mean? When a word just doesn't fit, I call down inside of it, and then I stretch it out a little bit. Call on my prodigious wit, and though it really makes some folks see red, I just do it here inside of my head. I think that I'll go back to bed. I'm just feeling Funkalero, do you know what I mean?
Funkalero really sums up what we've all experienced these last few months. Great choice, Janice. Janice and Jack, your passion and creativity for your craft is inspiring. The soul of the mission is summed up in your work. Thank you. Brian, what's next?
Wow, Alma, that's a hard act to follow. But speaking of passion for their mission, it is now my pleasure to introduce entrepreneur, author, legendary vintner, and philanthropist, Bonnie Meyer. As principal of the Meyer Family Enterprises, she was the founder of Silver Oak Cellars, a strategic philanthropist. Bonnie targets programs that empower at-risk adolescents and adults. We are honored to have the support of Bonnie Meyer and the Meyer Family Cellars, and we now welcome Bonnie this evening.
Hi, my name is Bonnie Meyer from Napa Valley, California. I was the founder of Silver Oak Cellars, together with my husband, Justin. Our family has a tradition of philanthropy. My son, Matt, and I are happy to support the Naperville Rotary Club in their drive to raise money for mental health and abuse prevention. We are participating by donating a percentage of wine and book sales to Naperville Rotary. Matt and his wife, Karen, make an array of wonderful award-winning wines. My book, Perfectly Paired, also recently won a national award. It is about the origin story of Silver Oak and the romance behind it. Our romance, by the way, began with music, but you'll have to read the book to find out about that. So buy some wine and a book or two. Add a little joy to your life and a little money for folks who could really use your help. Thank you.
Our final featured artist tonight is bassist Larry Gray. Our relationship with Larry goes back to the 1987 Chicago Jazz Festival, when he first appeared with my group there. Larry's also a well-known multi-instrumentalist. Not only is he a virtuoso bass player, but he also plays cello, flute, and guitar. If you Google him, there are many video clips that demonstrate his instrumental versatility. Most of you know Larry as the bassist with the Ramsey Lewis Trio, a position he held for 12 years. He's played with almost everyone, including McCoy Tyner, Benny Golson, and James Moody. A very notable recording of his is the highly acclaimed CD Made in Chicago, done with Jack DeJohnette's group, which includes Muhal Richard Abrams, Roscoe Mitchell, and Henry Threadgill. This evening from Champaign, Illinois, Larry is presenting a solo bass rendition of Down Here on the Ground by Lalo Schifrin, which is a tune from the 1967 movie Cool Hand Luke. Wow, the total package. Beautiful bass sound, masterful playing. That was incredible, Larry. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Janice. It was truly my pleasure.
Local authorities have reported a significant increase in domestic violence calls. Victims are in need of a safe place to go to escape their abusers. A $100 donation will provide 3 nights of safe housing. Please consider making a donation to help someone seeking shelter this evening.
Tonight, everyone, we have a simple ask of you. Donate to rescue someone from domestic violence right now. Remember, a generous donor is matching $30,000 of donations tonight. Together, we are making a difference. Just as we've all joined our hearts together in support of these causes tonight, our artists will now join together for the fabulous finale.
Yes, Alma, we had lots of fun putting this together. This is actually a poem entitled Battle Report by jazz poet Bob Kaufman, which we will present in a free musical setting featuring all of us. So here we go with Battle Report. 1,000 saxophones infiltrate the city, each with a man inside, hidden in ordinary cases, labeled fragile. A fleet of trumpets drops their hooves inside at the outside. Ten waves of guitars approach the city under the cover of autumn's neoclassical clouds. Bassmen, all string feet tall, beating it back to the bass. $100 drummers, each a stick in each hand. The delicate rumble of pianos moving it. The secret agent, an innocent bystander, drops a note in the whale box. Five generals gathered in the gallery, blowing clouds. At last, the secret code is flashed. Now is the time. Now is the time. Attack. The sound of jazz.
Thank you for joining us this evening. This event will be broadcast again, and you can still make donations to Jazz Quilt through Giving Tuesday, which is December 1st this year. It has been my honor and pleasure to chair this event. I hope you've enjoyed it.
What an honor it has been to have you with us this evening. On behalf of the Rotary Club of Naperville, we're grateful for your support of mental health awareness and domestic violence prevention. Thank you to NCTV 17 for producing and broadcasting this event, to you, Brian, for chairing this historic event, and to our major sponsors, Paul Gregory Media, Edward Elmhurst Health, Energy Services, Friedrich Jones Funeral Home, Design Resource Center, Fox Valley Institute, Comcast, and Alma and Greg Jones. We also thank Naperville Bank and Trust, Intent Gen Financial Partners, Revere Court Bolingbrook, Seabreeze West, Dr. Roger and Kathy Iliff, Mr. John Gallagher, Brand Boboski, Ed Chanel, the O'Malley family, and Flashpoint Creative Arts. Thank you to Meyer Family Cellars, Bonnie Meyer, Owen O'Donnell, and Elevage Wine and Spirits, the many Rotary volunteers, artists Pat Coyle, Fareed Hawk, Scott Robinson, Larry Gray, and a very special thank you to our artistic directors, Jack Mouse and Janice Borla. I wish you all a blessed and safe and joyous holiday season and urge you to be well to do good. Together, we can do it. Good night.